Before there were traps, before there were pesticides, before there was a single thing in a plastic container. People in the Appalachian Mountains had a food storage system so effective. Mice couldn't touch it, rats couldn't reach it, insects couldn't get inside it, and almost nobody builds one anymore. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how it worked, layer by layer, because every single piece of this system had a job, and when you see how it all fits together, you're going to wonder why we ever stopped. Think about what a family in 1820 was facing. No refrigerator, no plastic bins, no sealed bags, and a winter that could last 5 months. Everything they needed to survive. The cornmeal, the dried beans, the smoked pork, the flour. It all had to sit in that cabin, accessible, dry, and safe. Mice can squeeze through a gap the size of a pencil eraser. Rats can chew through wood in a single night. Weevils can hatch inside a bag of flour you thought was sealed. One bad infestation didn't just mean an inconvenience. It meant your family didn't eat. So what did they do? They didn't just use one trick. They built a system. And that system is one of the most brilliant pieces of practical engineering the American frontier ever produced. The centerpiece was something called a pie safe, a freestanding wooden cabinet, poplar, pine, or walnut. The doors and sides weren't solid wood. They were fitted with panels of punched tin. Those panels weren't decoration. Every hole was punched from the inside out, sharp edges facing outward. Any mouse or insect pushing through from outside pressed directly into those jagged edges. The design itself was a deterrent. But the real genius was airflow. Those punched panels kept cool air circulating constantly. In a time before refrigeration, airflow was the difference between food that lasted 3 days and food that lasted 3 weeks. Documented examples survive from Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Carolinas, dating back to the early 1800s. But the pie safe alone wasn't enough. You still had to get it off the floor. Frontier families understood one thing clearly. If a mouse could reach the leg of your cabinet, it could climb it. So they engineered that away. Cabinet legs were set into shallow dishes of water, ash, or grease, substances mice refused to cross. In more permanent structures, legs passed through large stone discs or inverted metal cones, smooth enough that no rodent could get a grip. Sailors had used this same trick, metal rat guards on ship mooring ropes. Since the 1600s, frontier families applied the exact same principle to their kitchen storage. In parts of Appalachia, legs were rubbed with lard and red pepper. The grease made climbing impossible. The pepper made trying it unpleasant. And most pie safes were kept at least 6 inches from any wall, because mice don't jump into open space. They run edges. They follow baseboards. A cabinet in the middle of a floor, on treated legs with a tin panel body, was almost genuinely unreachable. The third layer was something you couldn't see. Appalachian and colonial-era families placed specific plants inside and around these cabinets, documented in household journals, agricultural almanacs, and ethnobotanical records from the 1700s through the early 1900s. Penny royal, a member of the mint family, placed in flour barrels and corn storage. Mice avoid it. The volatile oils irritate their respiratory passages. Tansy was laid on pantry shelves across colonial New England, recommended in household guides specifically against ants and weevils. Bay leaves buried in flour bins disrupted weevils' ability to breathe. Wormwood, hung in bundles near storage, is genuinely toxic to a wide range of insects. And cedar. Frontier families lined grain boxes with cedar planks because cedar naturally repels moths and insects. Every one of these plants placed deliberately, based on generations of observed results. For bulk winter stores, the system scaled up. The granary was never placed against the main house. Rodent containment was a deliberate decision. These structures were raised 3 feet or higher on stone piers, fitted with smooth, wide-capped rat guards at the top of every post. The gap underneath let barn owls, cats, and foxes move freely below. Spring houses kept dairy and meat on stone shelves over cold running water, suppressing bacterial growth without a single piece of modern technology. Smokehouses combined smoke, salt, and hanging storage into one preservation system that handled insects, bacteria, and moisture all at once. And then there was the oldest layer of all, the barn cat. Not a pet, a working animal with a clearly understood job. Families bred for them, traded them, valued a proven mouser the way they valued a good plow horse. A single cat working a barn will suppress a mouse population almost entirely, not because it catches every mouse, but because mice operate on scent. A territory that smells of cat is a territory mice avoid. Constant, passive, free. So here's what that complete system looked like assembled. A raised cabinet on treated anti-climb legs, kept from the walls, punched tin panels on every surface, pennyroyal and bay leaves in every bin, cedar lining in the grain box, a barn cat on the floor below, a raised granary on rat-guarded stone piers, a spring house for dairy, a smokehouse for meat. Every layer solved a weakness the others left open. The tin stopped insects, the legs stopped mice, the plants stopped what the legs couldn't, the cat suppressed what the plants couldn't. The separate buildings contained what nothing else could stop. This wasn't guesswork. This was 150 years of hard-won knowledge from people who could not afford to lose their food. We replaced all of it with a snap trap and a can of Raid. Makes you think.